This is your dose of daily market wisdom with master trader Nick Santiago. Starting from humble beginnings, Nick has been beating the markets for over 2 decades. He shares with you his take on the profitable trades that will have you moving towards financial freedom in no time at all. To see an in-depth review of his track record and much more, go to inthemoneystocks.com.
Welcome. This is your daily dose of daily market wisdom with master trader Nick Santiago. I'm Kerry Lutz. Today is 4/27/21, and this is show number 254. So we got a mixed market today, huh, Nick?
Yeah, we got a little bit of a mixed market today. We're seeing the Dow Jones Industrial Average a little bit on the weaker side, just down 15 points. It's not a big deal. The NASDAQ is down about 0.2%, and then you have the S&P 500 basically flat. The winner of the day is the Russell, but that's only up 0.25%. So it's definitely a very tame day as far as the major indexes go. But this week and today in particular is really all about earnings. So we're seeing a lot of moves with the earnings coming out each and every day. Tesla reported earlier they're down by about 3% right now. So we'll be watching the individual names more so. We're looking at UPS on the flip side. They're having a really, really big day, surging higher, and that certainly is helping the transportation names right now.
All right. Well, hey, UPS, you see the surge in online shopping. Them and FedEx are the two primary beneficiaries of it, at least in transports.
Yeah, and you can see FedEx is also up in sympathy with UPS today, and that's up about 4%. But UPS is having a banner day, up over 10% today.
That's pretty substantial. So we got more earnings coming out shortly?
Yeah, this is a huge week for tech. You're going to have the mega cap tech names reporting this week. Tonight we have Microsoft and Google. Those are going to be the big mega cap tech leaders tonight, reporting after the closing bell. Then I believe tomorrow we have Apple, and then Thursday we have Amazon. So really a big week for mega cap tech names. But I think that's the theme this week. I don't think the major indexes are really surging or soaring or doing much. They're really just staying around the flat line for the most part. But it's the individual names that are the real story this week.
All right. So we have another NFL player getting paid or requesting to be paid Bitcoin. You better hope that it goes higher and not lower, right?
That's right. This is the second one now, and I'm starting to see a little trend here with these guys wanting to get paid their salary in Bitcoin. So crypto mania is running wild. We'll see if this guy is buying a top, or perhaps he's a genius and he'll be rewarded. But Bitcoin is very, very high on the charts for me.
So we also saw that most of Tesla's earnings came from their pump and dump of Bitcoin. It wasn't necessarily a pump and dump, but it was widely publicized. They bought it. They made $1 billion, and then they sold a couple $100 million worth.
Yeah, it looks like Elon Musk is a trader now, and they did a pretty good deal there getting into Bitcoin. He obviously touted it, and it went up, and they profited from it. So pretty funny stuff, but that's actually what happened. So it's going to be interesting to see what Tesla will do going forward. Obviously, it's still a market darling, but this is something we're seeing from other companies as well. I believe Square is also involved in Bitcoin. So, if Bitcoin drops, it's going to probably hurt a lot of these companies that are now getting involved in it.
And, like I told you before, I've owned cryptos. I own some now. It's not my primary thing. I just put a little bit of money into them on occasion when I think they're a good buy. And, and that's really what I do. But people starting to get paid in Bitcoin, that's taking it a bit far, because they have these NFL players have limited career spans. They can't afford to really take a hit on 1 or 2 years. It's really kind of dangerous what they're doing. They're speculating. It's one thing to take some of your income and put it in, but to bet your whole paycheck on it, that's pretty ballsy.
Yeah, it is. And I'll never forget back in 2008, I'll never forget this as long as I live. The Hollywood movie stars were looking to get paid in euro. They didn't want to get paid in dollars anymore. I remember Gisele Bündchen, the famous supermodel, requesting that she get paid in euros and no longer get paid in dollars. And she may have had like a month or two there where, the euro went a little bit higher, but then it, obviously a few months later just plunged, and it's never gotten back up there again.
Yeah. So it seemed like a good idea at the time though, right?
At highs, everything seems like a good idea when things are at highs. That's just the nature of people. They want to buy things when they're expanded, when they're overbought, when they're extended. But that's the allure door. That's what gets people in. I just found it rather ironic. This is the second NFL player to go public saying he wants his entire salary paid in Bitcoin. And, when I start seeing that, I think, these things have gone a little bit too far. Another thing I just want to say, too, is I saw across my newswire earlier today there was a director for Coinbase, and it looks like he cashed out today. I don't know if he cashed out totally, but he sold $21 million worth of shares. So I thought that was pretty interesting since Coinbase has only been public for about 10 days.
Yeah, did he get paid off in Bitcoin when he sold his shares?
No, I believe he did it in cash.
Well, I'm sure he's investing it all 100% of the proceeds in cryptos. Sure. It's interesting for sure. It's, if you believe that things are markets and there's a market for cryptos, fine. I won't even make any judgment on the underlying value. But if you believe it's a market, how can you believe that the same things that govern other markets don't govern them, that they can only go up? That's what I can't get through my head. But then again, I don't understand cryptos, and that's why, because, I just understand.
Well, even last week, we had some news out across the newswire saying that the Biden administration is looking to tax the cryptos 80%. And I don't know if that's factual or if that's true, but that was across the wires. If that were to happen, that would be the end of cryptos, don't you think?
Well, it would turn millions of people into criminals overnight, wouldn't it?
80%. Just think about that for a moment.
Yeah, that's what they're always talking, the windfall profits tax on oil. When oil gets too crazy and the oil companies were making too much money, gotta get them a windfall profits tax. And I don't think that's right, whether it's Bitcoin holders or not. But, Connecticut passed a law outlawing all semi-automatic rifles, AR-15 type things. And the line to go turn in your AR-15, I don't even think it existed. It was very short. So this is the type of thing that can lead to mass civil disobedience. And, they could strike back. If you get 35 million people really angry and they just refuse to pay any taxes at all, how's the government going to prosecute 35 million people?
It's a good question. I don't really have the answer for that one.
Well, I do, and they're not. They're going to make examples of people, which is what they always do anyways. And point is, there might be a role for cryptos. Never lose sight of the fact that it's a market. And Coinbase is a marketplace, all right? If it's not a market, why do you have marketplaces? Why do you have exchanges? It's a market. But I don't understand that cryptos only go up. Like, I didn't understand real estate only went up. Oh, I forgot. The stock market always goes up, right, Nick?
That's right. Stock market never goes down.
Yeah. So, and it could well be that those clients are real opportunities. Like we saw in Bitcoin in 2018, it was a real opportunity to get in there. And I actually writing an article about it because, I kind of called it then, and not ready to call a Bitcoin top now, but I would say that safeguarding some profits have had a multi-fold increase in the value of any investment. It always makes sense to take money off table. Otherwise, it's easy to wind up with no profit. What happened to me in the .com era?
Well, and you're not the only one, but it's happened to a lot of people. And, that's why I always tell everyone, the way I like to do it is take off a portion of your position, maybe half of it, and let the second half run. And then you move your stop up and you put a trailing stop in there and you see how high it can go. But, when I start to see celebrities and I start to see athletes and people getting into things, that's always a red flag for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, like the same thing within the stock market with SPACs, right?
Absolutely.
And those things have no reason to exist.
Yeah. And the funny thing about the SPACs, though, while they were running wild, most of these things have corrected 50, 75% already. So, the SPAC mania that bubble has already bursted. So, that's the irony. And that's just, one of many pieces of froth that are in this market right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of froth, and that isn't just in the cryptos. And maybe the cryptos will go up if the stock market takes a hit. People will run to cryptos. I don't know the answer to it, but I do know that the charts don't lie, and everything is a chart, right?
That's right. Everything's a chart, and there's one pattern called the parabolic pattern, and when it makes that, you're on borrowed time.
Yeah, which is exactly what happened in 2017. I wrote this article, and I'm going to republish it with a little intro to what's happening today, just to be mindful of. Hey, you are hodling, as they call them, hold on for dear life, call them hodlers, then just ignore what I'm saying and just hold it. Kind of the way I feel about precious metals. But if you think you would like some of that worthless fiat currency in the meantime to go buy more gold and silver, perhaps, maybe that's not a bad idea. I'm not passing judgment on cryptos. The government will do what it it does, and just have to deal with it as citizens. You know the old saying, Nick, no man's life, liberty, or property is safe when the legislature is in session.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah, Mark Twain said that. Hey, speaking of the ultimate insurance policy, precious metals, what have we got going on today? They're up a little bit when the last time I looked.
Well, they're basically flat. Today we have gold futures as we speak, just down about 50 cents. Not a big deal there. And then you have silver futures actually up almost 1% today. So nice little move for silver. Gold is still in a pause mode. And then you have gold miners today down a little bit, basically pulling back off the recent highs. And they need to do that anyway. But no real problem out here, but very good little uptick for silver. Silver's holding up really well.
Yeah, it's up like a little more than 0.5% on the spot market. And it's just kind of gravitating. They've got gold locked down in that 1780 range. Very listless kind of trading day. Just not much happening, but silver is up a fraction. And hey, have to see where it goes from here. But where you should go is inthemoneystocks.com. Check out Nick's site. Check out his trading record. Goes way, way back. When you disparage any of his predictions on any market, whether it's cryptos, gold, stocks, commodities, take a look at his record and think about it. Maybe he's onto something. Not 100%, but nobody is. But they said if you are bright more than 50%, you can make a fortune as long as you limit your losses. And there's something to be said for that. Twitter feeds at ITMS, at Nick Santiago 01, at Kerry Lutz. Email me, get it to Nick, personal address, KL@kerrylutz.com. That's it for today, Nick. We will pick up tomorrow.
Sounds good, Kerry. Thank you.
And so concludes another episode of Daily Market Wisdom with Master Trader Nick Santiago. Be sure to go to his website, inthemoneystocks.com. Don't forget the Twitter feeds at ITMS and at Nick Santiago 01.